Have you ever been at the grocery store and wondered, what's the best T-bone? And why is it the best T-bone? Well, we're going to go over that today. I'm going to use my 25 years of experience in retail management and meat cutting, and we're going to go over and show you the succession of a short loin, which produces porterhouses, T-bones, and New York strips. And you and I are going to learn together, and I'm going to show you my opinion on the perfect T-bone and picking it out. All right, let's do it. And welcome in to Picking Out the Perfect T-Bone, where we're going to go over how to choose the best porterhouse T-bone and New York strip. All right, this is a whole short loin, and we're going to go through the succession between the porterhouse, the T-bone, and the New York. And this is a classic porterhouse, 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 and porterhouse. And then this can be either or, porterhouse or T-bone, but then T-bone, T-bone, T-bone. You see how the fillet is starting to disappear a little bit? That's a T-bone. And then one more T-bone, and then 3 New York strips. And you see how the fillet is gone off that New York strip. That's how you do it, and that's how you identify the succession of the short loin. Starting off here is an example of the perfect porterhouse. Porterhouse, porterhouse. And you see what makes that porterhouse beautiful is that large fillet right there, that tenderloin or filet mignon, the perfect his or her steak. You take his is the top part and hers is the tenderloin and the most tender piece of the meat. And there's another version of the porterhouse. And then this is what you'd consider a T-bone. And you see how that filet mignon or that his and her steak is a little smaller, just not quite as large as, say, that porterhouse. See the filet mignon? See the tenderloin? And then there's that T-bone again. And then there's a T-bone on the smaller side. And then there's a New York strip. An example of that New York strip with that tenderloin is just almost gone. And there's the New York strip or the his part of that steak. And then there's a porterhouse, porterhouse. And then there's a classic T-bone right there. And these are all unscraped T-bones. This was a project I was working on. T-bone, New York strip, and we're going down a stack of these as they come off the short loin. And that's another New York strip. And there's New York strip slash T-bone, and then New York strip slash T-bone. More New York strip on the bottom. But there's classic. That's classic T-bone. There's T-bone. And then now we have another, it's New York strip, and then down into these others that just have no tenderloin at all. There's a pretty nice classic T-bone right there. That's a good looking piece of meat. As far as T-bone, it has a decent sized tenderloin. They're not quite as big as that porterhouse. You see the difference there? They're not quite as big, but still a nice looking steak. And that's the difference, in my opinion, between the T-bone, the porterhouse, and the basically bone-in New York strip. And in my opinion, see that baby right there? This is a classic porterhouse. Classic porterhouse. And then this right here would be more of a classic T-bone. Classic T-bone with that smaller fillet. That's the T-bone. And this is the porterhouse. 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 And then bone-in New York strip, basically, with no fillet whatsoever. All you do is chime off that bone right there, and then this would be a bone-in New York. All right, just a little comparison, compare and contrast between T-bone, porterhouse, and bone-in New York strip. All comes off the same piece of meat, you guys. I hope we helped take away some of the fear of picking out the perfect T-bone. I hope we learned together on what to look for and what characteristics identify a porterhouse, a T-bone, or a New York strip bone-in. And I hope we can take this
to the next time that we have to go to the grocery store and we're standing in front of that meat case looking at all those cuts and varieties thinking, man, which one should I pick? Oh my God. And we make the right choice for us, for our family, and our friends. Alright, you guys. Hey, please hit that free subscribe button. It's free! And please hit the like button to let YouTube know that I'm doing a good job for you. Thanks again, and bye now. We'll see you next time with Tom, your neighborhood butcher.